Hello, I am Heather Barta, the coordinator of Province 5 of the Episcopal Church. We are proud to announce that we have recently launched the Leadership Coaching Project, and coaches are available to you. Today, I am with Laura Jackson, who is the founder of Holy Ground Coaching. She and I are going to demonstrate very briefly how the coaching process works, and she's going to coach me.
Good morning, Heather. How's it going?
It's going well.
So we don't have very much time for this practice. Normally we might have 45 minutes or an hour, but I think you said that you have thought of a question we can work on for just a little while this morning. Is that right?
Absolutely. I need help with my calendar. I have 2 weeks. I have 2 weeks where I have some things I have to do. And I have a whole lot of things I want to do. And then I really want to not get to the end of my 2 weeks and feel like I didn't get anything done. And I also want to make sure that I have some fun in there. But that's okay. Like, fun as a thing to do is okay to put in my to-do list. But I just don't want to get to the end of the 2 weeks and go, oh, I wasted those 2 weeks.
So you've got a defined period of time and a list of things you hope will happen in that time. So you're way ahead of some people that I coach. Pretty clear question. How do I fit these things into this time and not come to the end feeling frustrated and disappointed?
Yes. Yes. Oh, that was good. Yes, because I don't want to be frustrated that I didn't get anything done, and I also don't want to be frustrated that all I did was work in the next 2 weeks.
Oh, so we're talking about a balance
Yes.
or maybe a rhythm
Oh, rhythm.
of so what are the kinds of things that you're hoping to get done?
So I have some work with the province, some pieces I need to do. And some of that is ties into like the leadership coaching project, sort of, moving from this first cohort to the second cohort. It also involves some detail work of updating the website. So I'm also in a parish, so it involves, sort of Christmas Eve, which for us is going to be very laid back. But then I have some prepping to do for music for Epiphany, so I'd like to get that piece done. And then for my own coaching practice, I'd like to update my website and have that ready and talk to some people that might be interested in using me as a coach.
So there's a balance already of things you can do by yourself and things that involve other people, and things you can do whenever versus things that kind of have a time anchor built into them. Would you say those time anchored things are already in your calendar? Christmas Eve is on Christmas Eve, right?
Christmas Eve, 4 o'clock is in my calendar. That is set. Yes.
And so when you have a time anchored event that needs some preparation, what do you do about the preparation? Do you calendar that?
Sometimes I usually just do the to-do list.
Mm-hmm.
So
To-do
when I
list have a deadline.
yeah. So I've not been doing well with my to-do list. So prepping for this morning was actually one of the things of I just had to dump everything out of my head, and I dumped it onto paper instead of something electronic. Um, so luckily for Christmas Eve, I have already done the prep work for that.
Oh,
Um,
okay. So that's not part of your.
nope, I just have to show up. Like, I don't have to prepare that piece. I have to prepare Epiphany music. So I'm already to that.
Oh, okay. Of course, you're working ahead. So what if you get to the end of this break and you look back and you think that was really good. That was even better than I expected. What would it have been like?
I would have ridden my pony at the park if there was a day that we can go ride ponies.
Mhm.
So really hoping that the snow or the rain doesn't happen, at least one day where I can go riding with my friend. I will have read a book or two. I have one book that is a nonfiction library book that I wanted to read. And then I really want to sit and read some fiction.
Mhm.
And then I also have a cross stitch project that I want to work on. So I laid out like my work stuff, but those are the fun things that, I'd like to spend some time on. I always have knitting going, and knitting's pretty easy for me, but this cross stitch project, I'm going to have to like actually sit down and pay attention to.
Takes a
Um,
little more focus.
it does. I haven't touched it in a really long time, but I should be able, once I start working on it, should be able to finish it up in the next couple of months. So
Is there a part of the day that's better for you for focus?
mornings, if I get up in the morning and start work, if I have found over time that that is, while I'm not a morning person and my morning doesn't start as early as some people's mornings,
Right.
um, but if it's sort of the feed the horses, sit and work,
Mhm.
um, I can be productive there. If I try to do something else first and then come back, it's normally gone and not as good by the afternoon.
Oh, that's great self-awareness.
Yeah.
So you've lived into a rhythm of how your work balance works well.
Yeah, though I probably haven't thought about structuring my time over the next 2 weeks to make sure that I structure it reflecting that knowledge. So that's helpful if I
What
can.
How will that be helpful? What will that look like?
So I think I can do, like, I'm looking at my calendar. I think that means I could schedule in some chunks in the morning. So get up, feed the ponies, say hello to them, come back in, you know, put in 2 to 3 hours maybe each day ish. I mean, some of that will depend. Um,
Well, and if you wake up and the weather is pony riding weather, then
then
it's
we
that
go,
day, right?
yeah. Then ponies win. But yeah, but that would, because that feels good. What feels good to me in that is that I can do some work, which I know I need to do some work, even as I, get some rest over the next couple of weeks. But that contains it, right? It contains it to those, 2 to 3 hours. Because then I can work 10 to 1 noon, 10 to 1. And I can like I can sort out the projects later, like sit down and go, okay, what project am I going to work on, or what am I doing? Um,
Yeah. But so by the time you knock off for lunch, then you don't spend the afternoon worrying about what else you should be doing because you'll
yes.
tomorrow morning.
Yes. Yeah, and then I can go have some fun. Hang out with my husband, or, read or knit or cross stitch. Yeah.
So what does that feel like?
That felt good. That felt good. I mean, obviously I'm like looking and it's like, okay, good. I have, an afternoon meeting on Wednesday and I have Christmas caroling on Thursday, but for them that yeah, that feels good. That's
So
yeah.
was that 10 minutes? Where are we?
I have no idea about there. So, um
So to bring this home in a
mhm.
coaching way, what action are you excited to commit to? What's the next step?
um so I'm going to commit to mapping out in my calendar,
Hmm.
um, like putting aside the chunks of time, like putting in my calendar 10 to 1 to work.
Hmm.
And then um, I will probably be spending a little bit of time, like which day am I going to do which project, um, which will help me with some of the thinking pieces I still need to do. There's still some thought pieces, big picture pieces, but that's okay. I'm good with that. And then I'm not going to map the afternoons right now. Just knowing that in the afternoon I have choices, and that depending on the day, that'll be checking in with the spouse to see what's going on, and okay, I'm going to read my book or work on my cross stitch or
Would it would it help to make yourself a list, like a menu for the afternoons? Menu of
oh
fun for the week.
Yeah. Yeah, I was even one thought that popped into my head at some point was maybe I need to put up a little chart. I'm so super organized. I know that people watching this video may be like, wow, Heather, like you can't schedule fun time. Yes, I can. I actually schedule in my spontaneity. It's okay. I'm good with that. That's how my life works.
No, if you want to get to the end of the break and not be sad that you forgot to play or rest,
But I
then
was
you're going
thinking,
to put in what is play and what is rest.
yeah, I have a whiteboard and I was thinking I could put up a little chart that was like had reading, like reading for 30 minutes. Reading has been hard in the pandemic for me, so I think that 30-minute chunks is about as much as I can do.
Yeah.
But I can do reading for 30 minutes and then I can do like tick marks and then I can erase them as I do them. So if my goal is like, 6 or 7 or 8 hours of reading by the end, then I can, have those laid out and then erase them as I go, cross stitch sessions in 15-minute chunks or 30-minute chunks and erase them as I go. Anyway, that was, yeah.
That makes me think of those childhood chore charts with star stickers.
Yes,
It's satisfying
it is. It is.
to look into the future and see what you want, what you intend to do, and then put the thing on that says, I did it. I
I
did it.
did it.
Look at
I
all
did
the
it.
stars, and you're like, look at all I did.
Look at
Because
that.
because you can't see reading,
Right.
but you can see your check marks or your stickers. So I think the the reading is one kind of reward, and then seeing it all in one place is another kind of reward. And
That's
I'm
awesome.
I'm all about rewards for the rewards, like as, as much positive reinforcement as you can give yourself for balance and self-care and getting things done.
Exactly. Celebrate. Yay.
So when are you going to do all this calendaring and mapping and happy organizing?
The calendar um for the work pieces, I'm going to work on actually right after we get off the phone because I have some time right now, so I can actually put those in my calendar. Um, and then I have some things I have to do this afternoon. Um, so this evening, I may redo my based on your adding a sticker. I may totally make a chart with stickers because
Awesome.
I can do that.
So we
So
have the Bower, we have the office supplies.
I do. I have big post-it notes. I'm totally going to do that. So I'll make up a chart, but that'll be this evening before I get to it. And if it doesn't finish up this evening, then tomorrow afternoon, as I start my playtime after lunch, so 1:30 or 2 o'clock, I will map out all my play for the week.
Wonderful.
Yay!
All right.
That was
Well,
awesome.
thanks very much.
Thank you.